All right, let's talk about financial freedom. We're going to cut through all the hype you see online and really focus on the real practical habits that can actually change your financial life for good. Let's get started. So let's kick things off with a really powerful idea about what true wealth actually is. The former head of Banco Santander, Emilio Botín, was once asked if he was a millionaire, and his answer was just fascinating. He said, rich are few. They're the people who can live off the interest generated by the interest of their money. I mean, just think about that for a second. It's not just about earning money from your money, it's about a fortune that sustains itself on levels deep. Crazy, right? You see it everywhere online, this dream of financial freedom. The idea of just living off passive income, never having to work again. And hey, that's a great goal to have, but for a lot of us, it can feel, well, kind of out of reach. But here's the thing. What is achievable is building real, solid financial health. And that's an incredibly powerful goal that puts you in the driver's seat, moving from some vague dream to a concrete, achievable reality. So here's the game plan for today. We're going to start by redefining financial freedom, then we'll dive into 7 absolutely crucial habits. We'll talk about building your financial fortress, then making your money grow, a final investment you have to make, and we'll wrap up with the single most important step you can take. All right, first up, let's redefine what we're even talking about. It's time to move from just having a dream to actually having a plan. And that plan? Well, it's built on 7 crucial habits. Think of these as your blueprint for financial health. They're simple ideas, but when you apply them over and over, they completely change the game. Okay, so here they are at a glance. Number 1, spend less than you earn. Sounds obvious, I know, but it is the bedrock of everything. 2, pay yourself first. 3, control your expenses. 4, create an emergency fund. 5, invest what you save. 6, avoid bad debt. And finally, number 7, invest in your own knowledge. Don't worry, we're going to break every single one of these down. So, where do we begin? First things first, you build your fortress. Before you can even think about going on the attack, growing your money, you need a rock-solid defense. That's what these first habits are all about, creating a secure foundation you can build on. And that first habit, spending less than you earn, it really just boils down to one simple thing: knowing the difference between a need and a want. A need might be a reliable, basic phone that costs 200 euros and gets the job done. A want? That's the brand new top-of-the-line iPhone that costs over $1,000. The source we're looking at today points out this trap we see all the time. People saying they can't make ends meet while holding a phone that costs as much as a month's rent. Being honest with yourself here is really the first step to taking back control. The next habit is a big one. Pay yourself first. What this means is that before any bills get paid, before groceries, before anything else, a piece of your income goes straight to your future self. A really great place to start? 10%. And here's the mental shift that makes it work. If you earn 1,000 euros, you immediately move 100 of that to savings and you just learn to live on the 900 that's left. The key is to automate it so that money is gone, poof, the day after you get paid. This simple little action basically tells your brain that your future is a non-negotiable bill. It's a total game changer. So, where does that first 10% go? Into your emergency fund. This is what's called a colchón de seguridad, which basically means your safety cushion. Because look, life happens, right? A car breaks down, you get sick, you lose your job. This fund is what prevents a small inconvenience from spiraling into a total financial disaster. So how big should this cushion be? Well, the ideal goal you're shooting for is to have enough cash to cover 3 to 6 months of your essential living expenses. And let me tell you, once you have this, the peace of mind it gives you is just incredible. It lets you make big life decisions from a place of strength, not desperation. Okay, so your fortress is built, your emergency fund is ready. Now it's time to go on the offense. It's time to make your money grow. So why is this so critical? Well, it comes down to one word: inflation. See, any money that's just sitting in a bank account is constantly losing its purchasing power. It's the reason a dollar could buy so much more for your grandparents than it can for us. If your money isn't growing at least as fast as inflation, it's effectively shrinking. Simple as that. And the key to growth is the absolute magic of compounding. Here's how it works. When you invest, your money starts earning money. Then the money it earns starts earning more money. Over decades, this little snowball effect creates a massive difference between just saving and actually investing. It is without a doubt the most powerful force in finance. Next on the list is avoiding unproductive debt. Now, it's really important to note that not all debt is bad. There's productive debt, which is when you borrow money to build something that's going to make you more money, like a loan to start a successful business. But then there's unproductive debt. And that's just borrowing to fund a lifestyle you can't really afford, financing a fancy vacation or putting a bunch of gadgets on a credit card. It's like trying to live on a higher rung of the ladder by pulling yourself up with borrowed money. It just never works out long term. But to make all of this really click, there is one final, absolutely crucial investment you have to make. And honestly, it might be the most important one of them all. And that's investing in yourself. What I mean is you have to boost your financial literacy. And hey, you don't need some fancy degree to do this. You can read books, you can watch educational videos just like this one, follow trusted experts online, subscribe to good newsletters. So much of this information is out there, and a lot of it is totally free. The goal is simply to understand the basics so you can make smarter decisions with your own money. Now, it's easy to hear all this and think, yeah, but that doesn't apply to my situation. Well, get this. The author of the material we're looking at today says he started his career with a salary far lower than the mileuristas in Spain. That's a term for people earning just €1,000 a month. He was there. He felt that same frustration of being underpaid. And this is the key insight he had. He said, I felt it was unjust, but I was very aware that if I didn't pick up the shovel, those rights wouldn't be granted to me. He basically realized that he had to go out and create his own opportunities, instead of just waiting for someone to give them to him. He had to take risks, push for more, he had to be proactive. And that's the reality check here. Building your financial health isn't always easy. It takes discipline, it takes effort, and yeah, sometimes it means taking a few calculated risks. But the most important thing to remember is that everyone, no matter where you're starting from, can begin this journey. Which brings us to the most important step of all. Because look, knowledge is great, but without action, it's just trivia. Your journey starts right now. So let's just quickly run through the key takeaways. Start saving a piece of your income, no matter how small it is. Use that to build your safety cushion first. Once that's in place, make your savings grow by investing. Keep a close eye on your expenses, stay away from bad debt, and critically, never, ever stop learning. We've covered the blueprint, the habits, the whole mindset. But now it all comes down to you. The path to financial health is built one small step at a time. So the question I want to leave you with is this. What is the first small step you will take today?